Hi there, everybody, and welcome back to the Battle for a Healthy Voice. I'm David Moyer, vocal coach. Over 50 years I've been teaching and coaching people how to sing. And I want you to know today we got somebody special, Ariana Grande. And here's our producer, Sunny Galt, also our host.
I thought you were going to say I was special, David.
Well, you are special,
No,
Sunny,
just
and you can keep that on there if you want. Wait till you hear her sing. She's coming along. We're going to have a voice lesson with her in probably about 3 months. We're going to put a video on, and you get to hear her sing a really beautiful Christmas song.
No pressure, guys. All right. Welcome to our YouTube channel. Thanks for visiting us and checking
Sunny,
out all the videos we have.
On the breath.
On the breath.
There we go. Do your best.
Okay, so today we have a special vocal coach reaction video for you guys. So this is a series where we take a look at popular artists and we look at their styles to see how they're singing, and we compare that to something that we call pure bel canto. If you want more information on that, visit our website, purebelcanto.com. And today we're talking about Ariana Grande.
That's right, and if you get an opportunity, subscribe to the Battle for a Healthy Voice. It's real simple. You just see the subscribe. Sonny taught us old timers this. You see the subscribe, and then you press the subscribe button.
It's pretty easy.
It's really hard. So we're actually doing very well. We're at 209 subscribers needed.
Okay.
And then they'll start
the monetization process.
Monetization starts with YouTube. So bring it on. Let's do Ariana Grande. I'm excited.
What do you know about Ariana Grande?
Well, I studied her.
Okay.
And I studied her, and I just recently, last night and this morning, I watched her sing when she was just a little girl. There's a compilation of videos out there. Mother took a video of her when she was around 8 or so, and I heard her sing then, and she had accurate pitch, very expressive. Not much understanding of how to produce sound in a healthy way. But as they progressed through it, well, I also learned that she has a coach named Eric Vitro, who is, when I look him up, he's the coach for the stars. And I looked it up, and he's got about 50 different people he's taught. One of them is Katy Perry. Another one was, what was her name, JJ? No.
Jennifer Lopez?
Not Jennifer Lopez. Anyway, if you look it up, Eric Vitro, it'll say vocal coach for the stars, and then it'll give you like 50 pictures and names of people that he's coached. And the first one that comes up when I look it up is Ariana Grande, because she studied with him. By the way, I was concerned by the way she sings, because she sings quite tight, and her genre requires that. However, I looked it up, and in 2013, she hemorrhaged her bands. So now, as we go to listen to her, bear that in mind. So did Adele, which they mention in the same article. And as we now know, those of you who have watched the videos and have studied Adele, she can't sing at this point. She had to cancel her second tour, and she's had, I believe, 11 surgeries.
All right, well, we're going to listen to 2 different videos from Ariana Grande today. Okay, the first one, it's a live performance from the American Music Awards in 2013. The video is called Tattoo. This is not a song that I was actually familiar with. It's not one of her
Me neither.
big hits, but it does show, where her voice was at in 2013.
Yeah, exactly.
So let's take a listen.
I'm ready.
Right.
You don't need a lot of money, and you don't have to play no games. All I need is all your loving to get the blood rushing through my veins. Oh, I wanna say we're going steady, ooh, babe, like it's 1954. Nah, it doesn't have to be forever, just as long as I'm the name
So, yeah, I wasn't familiar with that song at all, but it's a pretty song
Yeah.
overall.
Well, she uses vibrato, and she's in and out of compression. And obviously, whoever she's studying with, it was Eric at that time. I don't know the years that she studied. Maybe he's an ongoing vocal coach. So she has vibrato. She uses tension. She knows how to use her voice to not let it break. So the important thing to know is that that type of production is the successful approach to that genre. And she shuts her eyes as a performer and a coach who's coached many people. I would tell her that she needs to work on the eyes because she's got them shut most of the time in her delivery. And the eyes are the windows to the soul. So you need to contact like I'm doing in the camera. I can't just talk to you like this. It's not very engaging.
Yeah.
So that in her display needs to be worked on. And I've watched her in more recent ones and she's worked with that. But the important thing is that I also studied on this, that she went to a party. It was either right after that, and she actually blew out her bands. She said, she even said in what I was reading about her history, that she went and she screamed and screamed and screamed at the party, completely irresponsible, and then apparently either she was singing the next day or maybe it happened at the party, she hemorrhaged her bands. And I don't know that she had surgery. I just know she hemorrhaged her bands. And hemorrhaging usually requires surgery.
What actually happens when you hemorrhage?
Well,
your
I've
bands?
hemorrhaged my bands. What happens when you hemorrhage your bands is that you literally blow out the lining and then they bleed.
Oh, okay.
Now, one of the first people to do that we know historically and actually died from it because they had no way of cauterizing bands was in the teens, Enrico Caruso. He got into his mind that he was a lesser god, and he felt that he would never not have a voice to share with the public. So he caught a cold. And in order to make that cold into a singing voice, he found out that if he sucked helium, it would help his voice to go to a normal tenor pitch because it was so ragged from the cold. So he would suck helium and blow it out. They didn't have air conditioning then, but they had vented windows above the doors. Some of you old timers some of you might know of it that are younger too. And he'd stand on a chair and blow the helium out the door so that nobody could smell the helium. Then on stage one night, as he was singing an aria, he coughed and bled from his throat into his hanky. They show that anyway in the movie called The Great Caruso, which Mario Lanza played Enrico Caruso. And by the way, Mario Lanza went by the same road. So back to Ariana Grande. She hemorrhaged her bands, and she had to quit singing. And they were wondering if she did have surgery. I remember that now. And they didn't know if she'd ever recover. Well, obviously, when you hear her today, or you've heard her in the past, 19? How many years has it been? 9 years.
Okay.
9 years since when? What was
Yeah,
it?
she's pretty young still.
Yeah,
That was
she's still-
2013.
Well, she's 28 now.
Okay.
So the thing is, can a voice singing like that get that kind of longevity where those of you who've watched the video where I talked about a 96-year-old lady singing and nobody's guessed her age older than 40 or 45? Not at all. Not even close. So when you sing healthy, as long as you, in my opinion, are following a good walk with, as I believe, your Savior, Jesus Christ, then he will award you and bless you with longevity of your voice. Other than that, well, you're taking a chance. But know this, that there are people that sang into their 50s that sang this way. Mm-hmm. However, I don't know of anyone other than David Bowie who died 2 weeks. He was in bed dying from pancreatic cancer, and he actually did his last recording in bed.
Oh my
and
goodness.
he still sang pretty well.
Wow.
Yeah, because Bowie did understand how to do it pretty healthily.
Yeah.
This is not very healthy production. Eric Vitro, you've taught them well to save their voice. But if I had this girl, we would have a pause and we would retrain this voice. And I think, honestly, she'd get her whistle back, too, because I've heard her do whistle. They call it whistle. And she actually goes 1/2 step higher than my girl who's on the video, Sylvia Ruff. 1/2 step higher in her videos. And very, very clearly, too.
Yeah.
So she knows something about how to use it. What would I give her as a performer? 2013, I'd give her an 8 out of 10.
Okay.
And now, of course, 2022, she's definitely a 10 as far as a visual performer.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay, well, let's take a listen to a more recent video. This was last year in 2021.
Okay.
The video is called Break Free, and
Yes.
this was a performance on SNL.
Yeah, not 2022. I stand corrected. Thank you, Sonny. That's 2021, and I have listened to this repeatedly and watched it.
Okay.
Yep.
If you want it, take it away. Should have said it before. Try to hide it, fake it, baby. Can't pretend anymore. Oh yeah. I only wanna die alive, never by the hands of a broken heart. Don't wanna hear you lie tonight. Now that I've become who I really am. This is the part when I say I don't want you, stronger than I've been before. This is the part when I break free, 'cause I can't resist it no more, babe. This is the part when I say I don't want you, stronger than I've been before. This is the part when I break free, 'cause I can't resist it no more, babe. Oh, babe.
So this, I didn't even recognize that at first. This is a really popular song of hers, but a completely different rendition.
Okay.
So Break Free is a more up-tempo song normally, and she did a lot of runs that made the song almost unrecognizable, in my opinion. It was still pretty, but it didn't sound a lot like the
Well, I
popular
listened
song.
to a different version of it, and I know what you mean.
Okay.
But I would say that she treats her voice in the lower part of the song's range very healthy. And she does have some good clarity to it. She has some nice vibrato. When she goes up high, you'll notice the head tilts up, and it does a slight extension out from the throat, from the neck like that, rather. Like that.
That's
When-
something that we talk about in
when-
my
when you
lessons
have
all
lessons.
the time. It's
Yes.
like, because I have a tendency to
'Cause
do
if
that
you-
too when I'm going after
Well, if you
business.
do that, you're taking the straight tube
Yeah.
and you're literally crunching it or squeezing it. Well, keep in mind, the vocal bands are very small. Think of the inside of your throat. They're the top edge of a set of muscles that go down into through your bronchi and the lungs. And when they come together, there's what's called natural tensile strength. Now, most singers don't use that in today's genre. And she's a perfect example. As soon as she goes up, the sound that you produce, the sound that Sylvia produces, the sound that all my students produce. And also watch, when this is released, watch for the release of Emily Kellicott, because she sings very much on the breath, and she's been with me almost 6 years, and you'll hear what I mean. Now, I consider this a beautiful voice that has beauty to it. If I had her again as a coach, or even if I could talk with Eric Vitro, who's taught many coaches, I'd love to sit down and talk over coffee with him. Why do you encourage them to use that much tension on their bands? Because that's what I was just talking about earlier. That's what Enrico Caruso did by the use of helium. That's what she did in 2013 and hemorrhaged her bands. That's what Adele did and hemorrhaged her hemorrhaged her bands. That's what, maybe not yes, she did hemorrhage, but then you get polyps, you get you get contact ulcers. I've had them. Why would you do that? Why wouldn't you want to sing popularly? Now, if she's developed this style and that's all she's known for, then we both know that if you don't keep the style, you're going to lose some of your audience. And the
Yeah.
concern is, would you lose all of your audience? Well, honestly, as we talk, I don't think so.
Yeah.
I think there's people that like Ariana Grande as the person she is, the way that she conveys what she's feeling in a song, the visual way. And quite honestly, they would get used to the more healthy or beautiful way, the freely produced sound. Would she have as big an audience? Probably not. But she'd still make a really good living. Probably the managers and the people that make the real good money off her, they wouldn't be there anymore, but she'd still have a very exciting career, probably into her 90s, like the lady who we listened to, who's 96.
It makes me wonder if they kind of strategize with this, because there's a certain sound that artists are known for nowadays, and
Yep.
it's not produced beautifully and freely, what we talk about on the show, right? But it is a sound that they're known for
Yep.
and that the audience expects. And I almost wonder if they go into this saying, well, do that, in your recording, and people can play that back. Obviously, you don't have to sing it multiple times once it's recorded, and people kind of get that in their head. But then when they go and do live stuff, you see a lot of artists doing different interpretations like this. And I almost wonder if it's strategic to help them a little bit with their voice. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. To help them sell their voice, you mean?
To sell their voice, but also that, because I don't know, I go to different concerts, not as much anymore, but when I did, I'd get all frustrated because the artist wouldn't sing the song like the record, right? What I'd been playing over and over again in my house. And part of me wonders if maybe they can't anymore, right? But also maybe that's a way to preserve their voice, because they're going out and having to do, when they do something live, obviously it's live. They've got to do the singing.
You have a good point, because if people really love them and have the sound in their head and they've listened so many times, they might just accept the singer singing it and performing it in a different way because it's in their head and they've got it sort of in their mind.
Well, they forgive it, right? Because it's like,
There's forgiveness.
They perform this song all the time. Of course, they want to make it sound a little bit different.
Mm-hmm.
But I just wonder if it's because they couldn't possibly do it the way they do it in their recording, or they would have no voice.
I think there's truth to that. I know that when I was a performer and we did over 200 shows in a year with the new Christie Minstrels, there would be times when I would sing the solo, which we were known for today, which John Denver got to sing, but nobody else has ever been allowed by Randy Sparks, the leader of the Christies, to record it. But when I would sing it at times very light. And there were times when I would be doing the whole show and I'd be purposely singing light or in a different way to preserve my voice, because we had another 50 shows to go.
Yeah.
Or another 5 or 6 before we had a break.
Right.
Breaks are very important. Please remember that as you develop your speaking and singing voice. If you're going to use compression, make sure you take plenty of breaks. Make sure you do hydration. Do not sing in an air-conditioned place without a mist bottle filled with saline. Look it up on how to mix hot water with salt, which imitates your spit, your mucus of your body, and then you spray it into your throat, which preserves your voice. Okay? So what would I give Ariana Grande in 2021? Quite honestly, in her genre, I'd give her a 10.
So she did improve.
She
over
did
those
improve
years.
tremendously.
Okay.
She also has eyes. I can see her eyes more.
But I
Yeah.
was surprised. She does keep them kind of close.
Yeah, still. That seems to be her. It seems
And
to be
these are
her.
just 2 videos that we picked. I know we're going to get comments
Oh
like,
yeah, well, a
oh,
lot of you are going to go. No, she has her eyes
She
open.
has her eyes open
well,
all the
you know
time.
what? I'm not an Ariana Grande listener. I'm a listener to thousands of voices, and my own that I teach.
Yeah.
So you're going to comment, and please know this: we're commenting on these 2 videos, but I would give Ariana Grande, I'd give her a 10. I mean, she's really's got her genre down. Would I give her a 10 in terms of vocal health? No. When she does that upper singing, and I would tell Eric Vitro, I would not give him as a coach a 10 either. I'd give him around a 6, a 7, because that kind of stuff, she's only 28. You give her another 10 years with that and see what happens.
Yeah.
Because Adele lost her voice.
Right. Did he coach Adele? Was she on the list?
Mm-hmm. She's on his list.
I kind of feel like these instructors or these vocal, teachers kind of make the rounds. It's like once you're in the club, you move around and, you check that artist on your resume. You know what I'm saying? Like, come on. How closely could he possibly be working with all of these people?
Yeah, no kidding.
Yeah.
There's probably 50 or more people,
come on.
famous stars,
Yeah.
Yeah. And they met in a coffee shop and they had one lesson. Now, that's not necessarily true. And I'm sure a lot of you have studied it and you're going to go, I don't know what I'm talking about. Well, you know what? I probably don't, because I haven't done the historical study like you've done. I just call the voice based upon healthy production. That is, pure bel canto. And I want voices to last. The purpose of the battle for a healthy voice is to give you as a speaker or a singer or the people you know, give them longevity, extension of pitch, range of pitch, control of emotion, louds and softs, wonderful vibrato presence, and straight tone if they want it. That's what I'm doing. And then maybe someday when Ariana is 75, she'll still be singing in a very wonderful, engaging way. It can't be this way. This, I can promise you, this will not last. But in the genre she's doing, she's got a 10 because she's right up there with the best of them. And she's doing great. Health-wise, she ought to retrain that voice in the upper range.
All right, well, that's what David thinks, but we want to know what you think. So, of course, leave us a comment. Maybe there's other videos that display different things of Ariana Grande that we're not seeing in these two videos. So comment and leave us links. And be sure to check out our website, Battle for the Healthy Voice. Actually, that's our YouTube channel. Our website is purebelcanto.com.
And besides that, look up AmericanAcademy.com. My wife and I sing in our 40s, and listen to us sing. That's a style we use, and I think you'll find it appealing. No, it can't be used completely in this kind of genre, but I have done this kind of genre in my time. And as a result, I lost my voice 3 surgeries later because of singing that tight, but also because I have allergies. It's not a good idea. Choose a different genre. Don't sing hard pop like that. You know what I mean? I could show you and demonstrate. We're going to have, you go to some of those other videos where it's demonstrated. But anyway, AmericanMusicAcademy.com, the Battle for a Healthy Voice YouTube channel. Subscribe. We only need 209. And purebelcanto.com.
That's right.
And I'll give you a private voice lesson free.
Yeah.
Speaking or singing. I've got 4 students, and I teach in 5 different states right now.
Yep.
Okay?
If you go to our website, you can sign up for that free lesson.
And you get it? Yep. She's got it.
And you get it.
She took
And
the
you
words.
get it.
You get it. You took the words right out of my mouth, Miss Hope.
All right, you guys got it. You know what to do. We'll see you in the next video.